I think many people know me. Okay. I am Psychic Brenda Bradshaw. I'm a handwriting expert for the state of Virginia, and I just recently started shows now where people can mail their handwriting into me in the email, cursive writing. Basically, you do still write your signature in cursive. So you can email it to me when I'm going to do the show on Wednesday night, okay, at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And you tell me you mailed it to me, I'll go to my email and I'll be able to analyze it for you. This is a free service. A lot of you don't know much about handwriting analysis and what it can tell you. Handwriting analysis is definitely from the subconscious mind. Handwriting is like an art. Many people do not use cursive writing. We used to do that in schools. Hopefully they'll bring it back one day. The one thing that we're left with, even though we print and even though we type a lot and text and everything, we're left with our signature, which is our very personal thing. We have to sign things. And even though we're using a lot of technology and not able to use our signature, we still have our signature registered at a bank, or when we get a will, we have to have it registered. Or that will is not valid if it does not have a signature that can be used in the court system. Because many people will try to forge your signature. And handwriting analysis and handwriting expertise are still used. Usually on a resume, you do have to write, especially have to write your name, and many companies will send resumes to a handwriting expert. And this has been done for years. You can tell personality traits, skills. You can actually tell the health of a person. I tested this with the Arthritis Foundation, where they had collected signatures from people on wills who had arthritis. And you can see the shaky handwriting. And they were proven to be the person's handwriting, and the will was not contested. So when you get older, make sure that you go and register a new will if something happens to you, especially in your hands with arthritis, or you may get dementia. So make sure that that will is registered, or it will not be accepted in a court. I worked on a case like that, and the person had gotten sick, and of course, the disability caused problems with their handwriting, and they did not go and register the new will. And the other will that was registered did not show the arthritic condition that had gradually through the years. So the family did not get the money. It was given to something that was when the will was written, when the man was already well and young. So let's just consider doing this handwriting analysis. I want to talk to you about that on my show on Wednesday from 8 to 10. And I am a handwriting expert in the state of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Now, let me explain something why I'm really coming on. I mean, that's just one thing. There's so many things I want to talk about. I've had a wonderful journey, and my journey has taken me to faraway lands. And I went to Korea, and the reason I went to Korea and lived on the economy was my first husband was in the Army. So I saved my money. He was over there 6 months, and I saved my money, and I went to join him, but that was not an easy thing to do. So I had to get a passport. I had to get my shots. Luckily, yes, the Army did give me my shots that you need to go overseas, especially to Korea. And also, I had to get a passport, which I got. And then I had to get a visa. When you go to another country, you have to have a visa to enter that country. In fact, when you come to our country, if you get a passport and you're coming to our country as a student, y'all know this, of course, that you have to get a visa. And that visa has to be updated. So after I even went to Korea, while I was in the country, my visa ran out because I was extended to stay there a year. They didn't give me a year visa. They only gave me 6 months. So I had to go in Korea, to the place to get my visa updated so I could stay. So you see, we're talking about immigration. We're talking about something that's going on right now. But we're also talking about a country that I know a lot about in my heart. When you live with the people, on the economy. First, I lived in Seoul, Korea, which is the city. And then I lived in Yeongdong-po, which is right outside of the city. And I will tell you that when you live in those places, you actually are communicating as best you can, because I didn't know Korean language when I went there. I had to kind of do baby talk and hand language and all that kind of stuff even to get along. I met quite a lot of Koreans. It was an adventure, to say the least. The majority of women that I met near the army base were prostitutes. That's another subject, but that's a cultural thing because of the army base. And I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to say that that was a job and that fed many families. I don't judge those people. They do the best that they can. But I did meet many prostitutes and I did talk to them. And I did try to help one of them get a job, which is another little part of my story. But let me just say one thing since we brought up Korea. I was in South Korea. South Korea, 1969. Should have been up to date, right? It wasn't up to date. Many places you went didn't have electricity and did not have plumbing, no running water. There was still a lot of poverty and people living in boxes. And there were dirt roads. And there were lack of communication in some places, or transportation in some places. And the army was there with a commissariat. There were people that were able to get things by working in the commissaries. It's big, big on the culture and the economy of South Korea. So when people say in the news, pull our troops out, that would be yanking out a whole lot of the South Korean culture right now. It'd be more dangerous than people expect. Those men that are in Korea right now, the troops that are in there, are supporting the people in many different ways. The people appreciate all that support and the protection also. In 1969, the DMZ was very active. I'm not there now, so I can't tell you how active it is. But when I lived in Seoul, Korea, on the 5th floor of an apartment building, at night, there was a curfew. And out the window, you could hear the soldiers, Korean soldiers, American soldiers, were preventing problems. The curfew was a prevention. I don't know if they have it today, but you would hear the soldiers say, stop. And if someone didn't stop, you heard the automatic gun, bang, 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 and the yelling. It was a war zone. Anytime you have a demilitarized zone, you're still living in a war zone. I talked personally with a lot of the South Korean people who were separated from their parents and are still separated from many people in their family. One girl I lived with who was married to one of the soldiers, American soldiers, told me about her mother and father that were still in North Korea and part of her family. And she would pray every day that she would be able to see her family. She hasn't seen her family. So you hear the stories when you're walking around. You hear what life they have. And you see their life. And of course it's improved. Everything changes. Everything changes. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. I had to go shopping in the Korean market course, I went to the Coliseum, to the commissary too. But I also went in the market and bought many things. And you learn firsthand certain words and you learn how to work your way through it. And every time I would go up to buy something, whether it was eggs at the local little grocery store or the big market where I bought my quilts and things like that, the Korean people were there and they'd say how much it cost. And I said, well, I don't think I could pay that or whatever. I was like, I can't believe it costs this much. Now, I knew I was a tourist. I knew they recognized me as American, but they wanted me as an American to walk away, to not take the first price. Because if I took the first deal, they would think I was a sucker. And they didn't like that because they had this cultural respect and honor. That's why they do the bowing and that type of thing. The Oriental people have a mindset of helping and loving, very compassionate people. To their elderly people, for instance, they don't ship people off to nursing homes. They let them live with them. And you could go outside any building and see someone elderly, and you could see the other people in the family taking care of them. It's a different type of world. So when I think about President Trump going into that world, we haven't had many that did it. Think about it. Or many that even wanted to sit down at the table. And now we have something that we have never seen before. We don't know how to react to it. So here I am in the market, and someone whispered in my ear, might have been my first husband, a soldier, or someone said, walk away. See what happens. So I did. And they taught me one word. I've got to think about it right now. Pisemida. Cost too much. They'd say, come here. Iriwa, come back. I'd walk away. I really wanted the item. I really wanted the quilt. I didn't care how much it cost the first time. I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. I wasn't going to give that money out because somebody told me, don't take the first deal. They're testing you. They want to do this. This is their thing. It's cultural to them. Do you know that? It's cultural to them that you don't take the first deal. You see why Trump went back to Korea? Somebody must have advised him. So he goes back. What is his bargaining tool? He's got the sanctions, and what have they got? They got a right to say no. And he's got a right to walk away. That's what he did. Smart. Y'all don't think it's smart. Y'all think maybe he should have gave in and given some. Don't give them anything. Don't give them anything. Because if you do, they're going to think you're crazy if you paid that much. And they got you. So you have to understand people. The cultural thing about the Orient. You respect what they offer. I'm not going to do it. Okay, I respect it. And when you give respect, what happens, people? If you give respect, they give it back to you. They respected him for walking away. Oh, maybe you don't know that. I got some great deals. I came home with a lot of good deals from Korea. And many of the Army soldiers do too. They've been there long enough. They know. When you remain in a culture, you experience a culture. So I'm just saying, this advice is for you, but I know that President Trump had an advisor who's actually understanding what's going on. Are you a dealer? Are you a business person? You know what I'm talking about if you're a business person. You have an agenda. Nothing wrong with you having an agenda. It's your business. It's your position. A lot of people keep saying, we've never had a president like this. No, you haven't. So, okay, I agree with you. But it doesn't mean he's an idiot. It doesn't mean that he is so much he doesn't have any feelings. Because let me tell you something. The weak people, the people who appear weak, who walk away, are the winners. Listen to that again. Because I proved it myself. It's hard for me to walk away. Is it hard for you to walk away? When you don't get what you want, do you just sit there and just allow somebody to run over you? Is that you? Or you don't get the cooperation, which Edgar Casey talked about. Got to be cooperation. No cooperation, that's it. No need to talk to the wall, people. How many times have you yelled at somebody, they didn't listen to you, they're never going to listen to you, walk away? Or maybe you say, well, I gotta keep trying to change them. Are you kidding? Are you really kidding? Are you really beating your head against the wall? You've already done it 1,000 times. Do it one time. Because let me tell you, there's respect in this. They don't respect you. They don't respect you. And let me tell you something. The Korean people, North Korea people, they respect President Trump. Oh, he wasn't flattering them. Face the Nation, all these people on Sunday morning said, he's flattering. No, he's not flattering. He's a businessman. He likes them. Don't you like the people that come into your business? Well, you better start. Because when a person comes in your door, there used to be a sign on there. The customer is always right. Did y'all forget that one? Or maybe your generation doesn't know that. The customer is always right. Who's the customer? North Korea. Who's the business person in charge of the deal? President Trump. Is the customer right? Oh, yes. Listen to what the customer says. Customer says, I'm not going to do it. Not gonna stop this, not gonna stop that unless you give me something for what? Well, he already gave them something. Yeah. His time. Do you know how valuable your time is? Coming all that way. Putting him on the world stage. Oh yeah, you hear this in the news, but you don't understand what it means, do you? That this guy over there really doesn't deserve to be on the world stage. Nobody else ever put him on the world stage. Nobody else really honored and respected his enemy, who is our enemy. So we're supposed to like love our enemy. Let's not go that far. Or like our enemy. Or is it respect our enemy? Keep them close. You can't get any closer than that world stage holding on to their hand, right? That's right. Am I making sense? Or are you just saying to me, I just hate Trump. That's what I got going on. Whatever he does, I hate it. What is with you? What is with this hate thing? Is it getting you anywhere? I always say to somebody, like Dr. Phil, is that working for you? We elected this guy. He's in there. So why can't we give him a little bit of respect? I mean, I don't understand. Do you want respect? Okay, you got it. Inside you. You elect somebody, you let them do a job. You don't tell them they can't do a job. You see what they've done. And I don't think anybody knows. If you hate him, you're not going to look at what he has done so far. Now, I am not, I'm going to tell you, a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a spiritual person, if you want to call that bipartisan or whatever words you want to put on it. I don't support any party. And I don't hate anybody because that doesn't serve my purpose to hate. If it serves yours, Dr. Phil says if it's working for you, doesn't work for me. I really love the Korean people. And I'm going to include the South and the North. Because I met people from the South who are in the North. So I feel like that whole peninsula is a loving place of Oriental, kind-hearted, hard-working people. And they deserve the world stage, whoever their person is. So let's get off of that. Let's bring this thing together, because if we don't bring this together, oh yes, we love pointing fingers, don't we? We love to judge, but the day will come when we'll all wake up and we're in judgment because of our own judgment. That's the way it works, people. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's a loving, kind country. I lived there. I slept on the floor. I didn't have any running water. I didn't have a toilet. Outside of my front door in Yongsan, when I lived there, was a rice paddy. And they used human manure, because that's what they do, to put on their rice paddies. The South Korean people worked from the time the sun went up till the sun went down, standing in manure and water. They're still doing it today. We get rice. That's how rice is. It's a rice paddy. If I've told you anything, and you haven't Googled it yet, about 1969, I landed in Korea in 1969, walked up into a Korean building in Seoul, Korea, and on the TV set was the moon landing. The room was full of American soldiers and Koreans, and they saw me come in. They turned around and started clapping and thanked me for landing on the moon. I was shocked, because I represented the American people while I was in Korea. That's what you are. When you leave this country, you represent the American people. What you say and what you do. Think about that one. There were only 4 American wives that went into the area that I lived in Yongsan. Out there, Yeongdeungpo, out there. And 3 of them were left. Some of them couldn't make it. I made it a whole year. And I must say I'm very proud of making it a whole year, because that was my year to understand how wonderful, great America is. And I am all about keeping that, making America great again. To bringing back respect and honor for everyone in every country, because America stands for that. I am an American. Can you say that? Do you represent America when you hate your president? Do you represent America when you spread lies about our president? Are you a representative of what America stands for? This is just a public announcement. That's all it is. I'm not running for anything. I have my own job. I talk and I speak about how wonderful America is and how God is with America right now. But God will leave us if we don't ask for him to come to us. We know that. So let's bring America back to us right now in our hearts. And have some compassion and empathy for an American person who took the challenge of being President of the United States. I myself would not take that challenge. You have to have something really good inside you to want to fight for what is good about America. Thank you so much. This is Brenda Bradshaw. You can call me Psychic Brenda Bradshaw if you want to. That is the end of this. Thank you for watching.